Okay, last time, which was a while ago, we spoke about the neshama and the guf. And the last thing we left off was he explained to us why the neshama, even though it's so lofty and high, right? What benefit does it get? And we're saying that's basically yirida minas aliyah, that the neshama goes down and then springs back up. Okay, now he's going to summarize. That's where we're going to begin. So the 74. So first 73, so gather the general gist of everything that you said. So Omer Seichel Zeklal, this is the general idea. Haguf briyosei chashucha ubaylas chesroines. The body, its creation is dark and full of shortcomings. V'yesh lo zikuch alidei neshama, and it has the ability to be purified via the neshama. Neshama mekoyer gadol. Neshama, on the other hand, is very lofty. Her source is very, very lofty. Avol mimaetas atzma v'boy aguf, but the neshama is minimizes herself as it enters the body. This way, the purification of the body does not happen instantaneously. And the neshama doesn't change it from its nature. Aval me'at, but little by little, tiful boy, it acts on it, as a tzarech b'ma'asim hatovim, whatever is necessary through good deeds, right? So through good deeds, the neshama acts upon the body. V'achar kach tisala b'iluim lefi maseho, and afterwards it is elevated through her actions. V'yigdal koicho lefi iluya, and the more she elevates the body, the more she is elevated herself. And also, then afterwards, right? It doesn't speak tzava, I guess, but I think that's what it means. Meaning afterwards, on the time of Tchiyas HaMeisim, since the neshama has been elevated so much, so when it re-enters the body, then the body is also elevated in proportion to her elevation. To the degree that it's necessary that the body remains together, to peer, to look upon the sweetness of Hashem, and to visit His palace, forever and ever. Good. Amar neshama harei havanti ma shedai li'ato be'inyan hatchiyah hazois v'agmul ha'osid. So I now understand whatever is necessary for me regarding Tchiyas HaMeisim, right, and the future reward. Now we need to complete those things which we began. What are the things that we began?
Yeah, the same section 62.
Mm-hmm.
So here the note says, so he says in 62 he started talking about the Metzius Odom, right, the nature of mankind, Ve'al Ma'asov, on his actions, Ve'al Pri Ma'asov, and then the consequence of his actions. So Tchila, this is Rabbi Friedlander speaking. Tchila hikdim levar inyan Tchiyas HaMeisim b'chlala. He decided to speak about Tchiyas HaMeisim in general terms. Ba'asher hu pri ma'asov. That is speaking about the consequences of his actions, the fruits of his actions, not consequences. V'achshav tzarich lahashlim es bir mitzius odom. Now he needs to complete the explanation of nature of man. U'ma'asov, and his actions b'zmanim hashoynu b'madrigois of hashoynos. And his actions in various eras, right, and in various levels. Okay. All right. So that's the structure, the way the Refrain learned this. Is that how you understood the structure? I'm not sure if I know. Okay. But right again, so he's saying he's going in kind of in reverse order. Well, not exactly in reverse order, but he explained the outcome of the actions, which is the reward, right? Tchiyas HaMeisim, which is the reward. And now he's going to explain the nature of mankind and and his actions. Although I would have thought that he was talking about the guf and the neshama, which is the nature of mankind. Till now I was certain that we're speaking about the nature of mankind. Now Rabbi Friedlander says, no, till now he was talking about the fruits of the nature, not the actual nature. So, okay, so let's keep that as let's see if that map, holds up as we keep going, yeah? Okay, so next section over here is titled Hester Vigilui Ponov Hashorish Leguf V'Neshama. That the root of the neshama, the body and the neshama, is the concealment and the revelation. So Omar Aseichel, Acher Sheyadanu Mitzius Ha'odam V'Inyanoi. Again, so clearly the words don't kind of work out a little bit, as the way Rabbi Friedlander says, but it's strange. But Acher Sheyadanu Mitzius Ha'odam. Now that we know the nature of man, V'Inyanoi, and his dealings, or in his aspects, bein b'nishmosoi, bein begufoi, with regarding his neshama and regarding his body, bechiluf ha'itim v'seder azmanim, in the various times and the order of times, shehuch guloi, they are designed for him. Hine tzrichim onu lehavin, so now we need to understand eich shemisnaheg ima HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chol azmanim ha'ele. Now we need to understand how HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with him in these different times. Bein li'inyan gufay, bein li'inyan neshmasay. With regards to his body and with regards to his soul. Okay, so over here he tells us, all right, that the next section, that's what the next section is going to talk about. So that doesn't fit. Which one is of the three? I'm a little bit confused now. If Samach Beis told us again, Samach Beis says, Ashloisha dvorim tzrichim ona ledaber. Right? Again, right? Upon three things we need to speak. Al mitziyusoy shel ha'odam, on the nature of man. Al ma'asov, on his actions. Val pri ma'asov, and on the fruits of his actions. So I would assume he would be going in that order. Why would he go out of order? Why would he go out of order? But then I don't know what. Okay, again, I'm just make sure we got this right. Let's see. B'siman samach beis yod ledaber al mitzius ha'odam al masvel primaso tchid lo hiktim levar inyan tchias emesim b'kloloi ba'asher hu primaso. That's how he understands. Okay. Somehow doesn't sit well with me. Okay, I would have said they talked about the Metzias Ha'odam. Now he's going to about Hanhaga, which doesn't seem to any of the three, but I'm going to make an assumption right now. A working assumption is that the way you act with God is the way God acts with you, and vice versa. The way God acts with you is the way you act with God. So we're speaking about Ma'asov now. That's what I would have said. But let's see. So again, Omar HaSeichel, starting from the beginning, Omar HaSeichel, the Seichel says, Achash Yadanu Metzius Ha'odam, now that we know the nature of man, Bein Yonah, Bein B'nishmos, Bein B'gufay, well, right, regards his neshama and his body, B'chiluf Ha'itim, with regards to different times, the Seder Azmanim, Shuch Kuloi, that were designed for him, Hine Tzrichim Onu Lahavin, Eich Shemisnahik, L'moy HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'chol Azmanim Ha'ila. Now we need to know how Hashem interacts with them in all of these different times, Bein Linyan Gufa, Bein Linyan Nishmosai. So we have technically what? Do we have 3 different times? 4 different? I don't know how many different times do we need to discuss? Just again, keeping everything in perspective. We have Zman Hazeh, right? We have Zman HaMashiach. I don't know if that's a different time or not. I'm not sure. That could be Zman Hazeh also, according to Ramchal. So I'm just gonna put that. So 1A is Zman Hazeh. 1B is Mashiach. Okay, 2A, I would say, is neshama goes up, body goes down, separation, and then 2B would be tchias amesim olam haba. Right? So I see 4 potential times. Again, I don't know how to divide them. I didn't dividing them 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, but maybe it's different. But okay, so there's potentially 4 different zmanim. And there's potentially each zman, there's neshama and there's the guf. There's neshama and there's a guf. Right? Okay, so again, keep all of that in mind. So Omar Neshama Haseder Hogan Vada, certainly that seems like the right order. Ki kol dover tzarech sheyeh miyushav al oifanov b'mekoymoi v'sha'osoi. Okay, because everything needs to be settled al oifanov on its. I mean, literally, it means its wheels, but its base, its concepts, in its proper place and its proper time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, keep that in mind also. Those three things. So we're talking about, right? The idea, the place, and the time. The idea. How do they translate Ifanov in your? How do they translate that sentence? I'm just curious.
When you structure discussions, everything is to be explained in the right place, in the general scheme, and at the right time.
Okay, so I feel like it's lacking, and the precision of Hebrew is so much more, let's see what it says here. Here it says, everything should be understood in its various aspects in respect to its differing circumstances and times. Again, a little more precise, but not as precise. Meaning, okay, just, I think, yeah, okay. I don't know how to say it, but right, but there are these three things, okay? Oifanov, Mekoymoi, and Shaitoi, right? Okay. Atam hashlam noaz dvarecha. So complete your words. Okay. Omar Seichel. Re'i, look. Yeshu atzomim agashmim v'atzomim ruchnim. There are beings that are physical, and there are beings that are spiritual. V'hinei roeh. Now you see. Kama hefresh yesh bin eila le'eila. What difference there is between these and those. Because Gashmius is certainly something lowly in relation to the Ruchnis. Asher inyona nichbod u'meula, which aspect is honored and elevated. Okay, do you see that? What if I don't see that? So I'm not sure what. Let's keep going. Again, and look, you see, how much light there is in spiritual beings. So we see here two types of creations. We have creation with an abundance of light and ample hashpah, bria behara mu'etes, and a creation with limited light, v'hashpah mu'etes, and limited hashpah. Yeah, these are obvious kind of simple statements, but I want to just dig a little deeper because when somebody tells me to look, you see something, which is, it's a fact, it's obvious, I want to know why it's so obvious. It's not so obvious to me, right? Why is he? Because, right, so he's building two tiers. Again, just let's read the words carefully. He says, look, you see how much difference there is, right? These are lowly and those are high.
Yeah.
That's the one difference. And then he says again, and you also see these are full of light and these are full of darkness and imperfection. And right? So there are two distinctions to be made. Right? I don't know when he says that Gashmias is lowly. What does he mean lowly? What defines the Gashmias as lowly? What? I mean, I guess we just say it out loud, but I want to quantify it. I don't know. What does it mean, lowly? Again, you could say light. Again, I don't know what light means either. Again, he just takes it for granted that we know the difference between Ruchnias and Gashmias. Right. And I'm not sure that I do.
Gashmias was by default self-centered. Ruchnius is Hashem is the center. I think that's what he's getting at, the light and the darkness.
I mean, maybe, but except he's building it. How should I say? He's building it from experience to logic, as opposed to from logic to experience, right? Because he tells me hinacharoya, you see the difference. So that means before he tells me kind of a logical construct, he says
To him, it's clear.
it's dark, it's black and white. Like, well, here do you see the difference, and then so. Do I see the difference? Is it meaning am I missing a certain sense of appreciation just because we're totally like out of touch, or he's I don't know, somehow I'm not. I don't know what ruchnius is.
No, but you do things like one thing you need to survive for your body, like eat, sleep, whatever.
Right.
So I'm thinking that you don't need to wear survive or somebody. You're done for it completely as a purpose.
Maybe, but that's the thing. He doesn't even say that. He says begins with the words "ri yesh ha'atzomim gashmi hagashmim." There are beings that are gashmim, v'ha'atzomim haruchnim, and then there are beings that are ruchnia. So I don't know. When was the last time you bumped into a spiritual being to compare them?
Well, for him it would be easy. If he really was taught by Malach, then
Right.
it was obvious.
So obvious.
Right.
For him it would be very obvious.
So is he talking to himself? Somehow it also doesn't make sense. Anything of interest in your versions?
No.
Okay. So again, I'm not clear on this. Yinecharoy. Do we? Okay, I don't.
He all brings it down to like an influx of light. The more light, the more spirituality.
Right, but that's later. Once you establish this clear difference, then let me help you kind of put them into proper places. Right? But he first tells you, again, it's two seeings, right? He could have said this in one sentence. Let's say, even so, there's two questions I have. Number one, I don't see. Number two, even if I did see, why did he build it in these two layers? Why didn't he say, you see, kama hefesh ben ele le'ele, ki agashmius hu pchisus v'choshech, right? V'ruchnius hu nichbad u'mu'ula why did he bring this kind of in two seeings, two separate seeings? Okay, let's keep going. V'shtei midas elu. There are these two midas. Midas habriya ba'ora, the midah of creation full of light, or midas habriya b'loy ha'ora, and the creation without light. Okay. Sorry, I lost the place. Midas ha'ora, the midah of light, mitoldos choik tuvahi. It's an outcome of his goodness. Or midas habriya b'loy ha'ora mitoldos helam tuvahi. The concealment of his goodness. Okay. Vitiri again, and look. Ki haruchnim kol asokom b'divrei kedusha. The ruchnim, spiritual beings, all of their dealings are in kedusha. Achagashmim, the physical beings, in yonehem in yonei choil, their aspects are full of choil, of mundaneness, right? With dvorim shvolim v'nivzim, lowly things, and nivzim, lowly. Let's call them lowly things. Again, what's missing from here? Evil things or tmeim things. Meaning, we're not speaking about yet the lower level of tuma and avera and whatnot. We're talking about even Gashmias at its best, right? It's still choil. It's still choil and low, right? V'nimtza shekol klal omal ha'odom tachas hashemesh. So it comes out that all of the toil that a person does under the sun, it's nothing. And so a person's added value over the behema is nothing. To eat and to drink, and to propagate the land business. These things are lowly and empty, certainly. Okay. What makes eating and drinking lowly?
Because it's your Gashmias.
What makes it Gashmias?
For purpose of body. Just for the body.
So what? I mean, maybe mitzvahs are food for the soul, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so apple is food for the body. So
right, he's comparing it to an animal. This is what we share with an animal who cannot get higher than this. I think he's trying to.
So
we overlap with an animal.
Yes,
that part there's nothing but a cat.
Yeah, but in essence, it's the same part.
It's self. I'm assuming it's self-maintenance.
Yeah.
Self-maintenance is just that. It's just that. It's limited. It's self-maintenance. So any sort of self-maintenance becomes kind of pointless, unless obviously if it's for a point. But self-maintenance is not.
Yeah, any feel like become as an eating program, not just for eating, but to maintain your spiritual
right.
That's a little bit different story, but
right.
on a basic
level of self-maintenance. So when we say that mitzvahs are like food for the soul, we don't really mean like that in that sense. We're only using it in a very kind of borrowed way, right? It's not, when we do mitzvahs, it's not food for the soul, meaning that it's self-maintenance. It's actually moiser. Like this, the whole idea of kahelis is moiser. Moiser comes from what's extra, right? Meaning, if I plant a seed, I get a whole tree. Well, that's productive, right? If I plant a tree and I get the tree back, okay, what I put in, what I got out. It's not productive. So we're just okay. Anyways, fine. That's pretty clear. So that's at least so far. It seems that the way he's defining Gashmi is self-maintenance. Let's put it that way. All stuff related to Gashmis and nature, halos, heim choshech v'loy or, they're dark without light. And this that HaKadosh Baruch Hu conceals his face from the world, and does not illuminate it with his kedusha, with his holiness. He leads them betoihu loy in a lost, confused way, in these lowly ways, right? So that's the Gashmis. This is where Hashem's light resides. Shehu meir lehem piktushoso. He illuminates them with his kedusha. V'zeh poshet. Okay, this is simple. For some reason, it's not simple to me. But okay, v'teidi, and now you should know. So till now, he was saying you should see, you should see, you should see. Everything was visible. Now he tells me v'teidi, now you should know. Ki hashtaim eile hein moistois hanhagosois baruch. These two elements, right, revelation and concealment, they are the foundation of his anhaga. V'sharsha im kol bruav, and the root of with all of his creations. Midas hester upon him, the mid of concealment. Shu mis'aleim u'mistater. HaKadosh Baruch Hu conceals and hides. Ve'ena megala hadar kavod, and does not reveal the glory of his honor. U'midas ha'oras upon him, and then there's also the mid of revelation of his light. Okay. Fine.
That's right.
So first he said that this is very obvious, that the Hashem hides himself and makes this world empty and desolate with his
In what sense? What do you mean?
absence of his.
No, he never said that's pashut. Where did you see that's
Because
pashut?
here they translate this is self-evident.
Like the self-evident is actually going on the ha'ora part.
Right. That
If you look carefully, he says, right, Ach enyone haruchnim zeh derech yishkan shu meir alehem kedusha zeh posha. That's posha.
that's Pasha.
Meaning, if anything, on one hand, what I think he seems to be saying is that we experience the physical. Again, he maybe experienced both, but we experience the physical, and we see that it's lowly, and that's posha to us. We see the lowliness. What's more complicated is how does it exist? That's going to be more complicated, right? And maybe we'll see if he explains it. Meaning, how exactly does the concealment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light create anything, right? Meaning there has to be, without, if it's complete absence of light, then there's nothing, right? So, concealment of light is just a matter of perspective, right? Because if I stand on the other side, meaning I look good maybe next to a cockroach, like, but next to an angel, I look pretty bad, right? So it's all a matter of perspective, right? So that's less poshut, I think. How exactly does, from the concealment of Hashem's light, you get all of these creations, of physical creations. We see them, so they're here. We experience them, right? Right. So we know what they are, and we know they're pretty lowly. That we could experience. He seems to understand that we also can experience, to some degree, also the non-physical beings, but we understand how those functions. Okay, those functions, they have a direct connection to Hashem. Great, that we understand, or at least Zaposhet. But how exactly the physical creations, we understand they exist. We understand how they work. We don't understand how they exist because, Okay, that's the way I see it. Okay, let's see. Now he continues. Now, whatever is in the Hanhaga is also in the creation. All right, so till now he was talking about Hanhaga. I'm lost again. But right, whatever is in right, we understand that there is Hanhaga, which is the way Hashem runs the world, and then there is Bria, which is the way Hashem created the world, right? And we say that difference Hashem's names, right? Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei is the creator, so to speak, right? So Hashem is the creator, and then Hashem is the Lakim. He's the source of all forces, right? Force of all forces. That He's the one who's behind all that's happening in the world, right? So, and I would say Hashem Hu Elakim, right? That's what we say. Hashem is the same creator that created the world, is the same creator that is running the show, right? Okay, so that's like the ABCs of Emunah, right? Now, so right, that's we know the differences. But now, okay, so he's telling me, so Mashu Ben Haga Hu Bebriya, right? Okay, that sentence makes sense to us. whatever is in the Hanhaga, whatever that we see in Hashem's running the world, we can extrapolate and understand that's the way that it was in the creation of the world. But he was talking about the creation the whole time. No, when did he talk about Hanhaga?
Maybe the influx of the light and the absence of the light is the description of how the world runs.
That's what maybe, but he says Midas Habriya B'Ha'ora or Midas Habriya B'Loi Ha'ora. I mean, well, what's happening here? I don't. Umashu Banhaga Huba Briya. So he doesn't mean that. He means. No, I don't know. Okay, I don't. So. Right? Did I miss something? I mean, I see over here. He said. Oh, okay, right. So. This sentence over here is talking about. Right. Okay, I see. This sentence is talking about. Okay, let's read this again because I just make sure it's clear. Let's go back to Klolei Shel Dover. Yeah, Klolei Shel Dover. He goes back to Hanhaga. Just want to be careful. Till Klolei Shel Dover, really, he was talking about Bria. Right. Then from Klolei Shel Dover, he goes to Hanhaga. And let's call Divrei Hagashmios V'Ateva Alozim Choshech V'Lo Or. They're darkness without light. Masha Odon Baruch Hu Mastir Ponov Min Ha'olam. Hashem hides His face from the world, right? That's not Bria. That's already post Bria. Ve'ena Meir Bo Ha'oros Kedusha. So does not shine upon the world with His kedusha. Adarabba, just the opposite. Mancham, He leads them. Again, this is Hanhaga. B'toihu v'loy dorach, with confusion, not direct way. B'drochim shvolim ha'ele, continues to guide them in these lowly ways. Achinyone haruchniam, however, the spiritual matters, zeh haderech yishkoin or ponav. This is the way, and the way meaning the Hanhaga, right? The way to get there is towards Hashem's light. Shehu meir lehem pikdushoso. He illuminates them with His kedusha. Okay. So again, I'm not still confused about the construct, but now definitely that half of the paragraph is speaking about Hanhaga, right? That he Hashem with lowly creatures He acts in a lowly, mirrors them in a lowly way, and with lofty creatures He mirrors them in a holy, light way. Okay, and now he says, okay, v'teidi, and now you should know. Kishtayim elehem moistois hanhaga. So these are the foundations of His Hanhaga, right? V'shorshem kol bruyav midas ester ponim shu misalim mistart bein megala hadak boido midas haoras ponim. Right. So there are these two ways that HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with the world. Okay. Again, I'm still confused why He switched from the way He was. Because Klolei Shel Dover means. Is the summary of the thing. Right? But in any case, okay, so basically, let's just understand that. We see that in creation there are physical and spiritual beings. We see that there's a big difference between physical and spiritual beings. We see that Hashem acts towards physical beings in a physical way, so to speak, or lets them go in the physical way, and in the spiritual beings, He lets them go in a spiritual way. Now He says, "Umashu Hanhaga," whatever we see in Hashem's interactions, Huba Bria is also in the creation itself. Ki hanivroim hagasim ha'akurim lo nivro lebahaster ponim, were created with concealment of His face. Ki lo heir lehem pnei kodsher, He didn't shine on them with His kedusha. Va'aruchnim anichbodim bruim ba'ha'oras ponim. Now, according to this foundations, the chibur, the fusion of the guf and the neshama was made. The body, in all of its ways, is continues again. It's continuing with Hester Ponim, Vanishom V'Kol Beharas Ponim. V'Hine Ha'odam Hu Atzmoi HaMesakein V'Haniskan. So it comes out that the Adam himself is the Mesakein, is the one who fixes, V'Haniskan, and also the one who is being fixed. Okay? So, in other words, again, to what he's saying, and he's saying simple things, but they're not so simple. What he's saying is that since they're totally two different beings, right? So he just is introducing us, they're different beings. They're spiritual beings and they're physical beings. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu deals with spiritual beings in one way, and he deals with physical beings in another way.
Spiritual being.
What?
Physical.
The spiritual beings in one way and physical beings in another way. Okay? But what do you do with a being that's both spiritual and physical? Right? So then, how does Hashem deal with the being that's both physical and spiritual? Right? Because spiritual get the light, physical get the darkness. So what do we get? Do we get darkness? Do we get light? Right? So that's why he says that, first he says that Adam is both the Mesakein and the Niskan, because on one of our side we are darkness, on the other one of our side we are light. So the light side is going to be Mesakein, the dark side, right? Let's keep going. He himself is being fixed through the avodah, through the service. That it says in Parshas Tzitzis. This is not from Parshas Tzitzis, but the same idea. It could be said in the Parshas Tzitzis. And you should do them, right? Hashem's commandments. Atem, and you should do them. You should make You should make yourselves. Right? Vayisisam oisom, you should do the mitzvahs. Vayisisam atam, you should make yourselves. Shadoshu chazal, that chazal darshan, that right through the mitzvahs we make ourselves. Ubiyodehu, so now that we are, again, both aspects, ubiyodehu lehagbir be'atzmoi, so therefore, now that he has two of these sides, he can either elevate one side or the other. Either oy hagufon either he could, the physical side, and v'drachav in its ways, or the spiritual in its ways. Because if he goes after the appearance of his eyes, okay. All right. I mean, again, I don't know what's just poetic expression or what's being specifically, Mare Einov, right? I mean, clearly is a reference to, physical things. We see superficial. It's also a reference to Eitz Hadas, right? That she saw the fruit, and right? So Mare Einov, V'darkei liboy, and the ways of his heart, Hagufoniyim, right? Right? So he goes after the eyes or after the heart, which are physical, that are physical. Hine nishmosoi, that then as a result, his neshama tachas ma shehoyer roy lo liyois lehoyer laguf hazeh. Right, tachas ma shehoyer roy lo liyois lehoyer laguf hazeh. Instead of, so then as far as the neshama, instead of being a help for this body, that she was supposed to purify it, like we explained. Adarabba, the opposite, Goyremes Hefsed, causes it. Goyremes Hefsed. She v'nezek godol le'atzma. She causes great damage to herself. Shehi mishtakas b'choshech, because now it is plunged into darkness. Right? So in other words, if the body is strengthened, then the neshama, which is the light side, is being dragged towards the body. And the opposite from this is Gaber al Yitzra, if he overcomes his Yetzer, v'yisor medarkei ha'hevel, and he removes himself from these ways of nothingness, l'leches b'darkei ha'Torah, to go in the way of Torah v'ha'mitzvah, right? Tigbar hanashama ala guf v'tizakechu, right? So, in other words, so we have this human being, which is both a physical creation and a spiritual creation at the same time. And so he's kind of standing in this balance in the middle, right? And, he's got basically Hashem's light on one side and Hashem's concealment on the other side. And each side is, again, in its appropriate milieu, and it's a tug of war. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Ve'ata tiri, what's how we're on the time? Ooh. Didn't get far. Okay, let's just read a little more. Ve'ata tiri sibuvay shel olam. Now you see the fulcrum of the world. Uma bein dorin kadmoin lo dorin basorin. What the difference between earlier generations and later generations? Ki be'emes asher hasoma liboy ha'inyan asher nosan lekim la'anos boy. If a person kind of thinks in his heart about all that's happening in the world, he will wonder at all, wonder very much about the matter. You'll see people running around, day and night, without rest. Each man to his pointless endeavors. What are they working for? What are they toiling in? Al achila v'shtiya, on eating and drinking. Al hevel havolim shein klum, which is nothing. Al olam shel toihu sheben laila hayoim kan macher bekever. Today he's here, tomorrow he's in the ground. Aval mishi yetiv lirois, but a person who has good eyes to see, yira, he will see v'yovin, and he will understand. Because not for that purpose that man was created. It's more appropriate for him to be involved in understanding the honor of his creator. Because that's what he's really created for. And he was given das, right, knowledge, and great wisdom. Not to use his great wisdom as to increase in inventory, or call shard dvorim shel mabekach, or some other pointless things. Aval odom hu shekil ma'asov. It's just that mankind has destroyed their ways, v'goram la'atzmai be'ela hayoim, and caused that we have to do all of this. U'b'chol dor v'dor ha'olam choser v'hoylech binyan hazeh. And in every generation, the world becomes more and more limited in this manner. Continues to downgrade itself in this manner. Okay, so this is how he understands the concept of Yeridas Hadoros, of the downgrading of the generations, that with each new loop, with each new spiral, we're getting more and more intertwined in our physical endeavors. Okay. Which is, again, it's interesting. Again, I could argue with it. Scientific progress. AI. I don't know, whatever. What? Is it? Why?
Just to make our life easier and simpler and better.
So we could eat more, drink more.
Right, that's the crazy thing, that all of these, lots of these technological advancements are so to make your ads a little more targeted,
Yeah.
So that is true, but at the same time, there are people who are very much, lishma.
No, we're talking about generation. We're not talking about individuals.
Right.
The generation as a whole.
Maybe you're right. So let's get the earlier generations were closer to the wisdom, and were raising towards seichel. And the later generation are more distant from seichel. They're drowning in the gashmias, in this nature, in business, b'chol meleches machshavas, and all sorts of strategies. Asher leyimtzo hodam acharav meuma, which in the end there's nothing after them. Right? Again, he's talking Koheles over here, right? He's saying that what's the gain? What's the ultimate gain? You're going to make $1 billion. Great. What's the ultimate gain? You're still going to leave the $1 billion right over here, right? If there is no lasting leftover, so to speak, right? So then what's the gain? What did you accomplish? Okay? And the root of it all is because the body is created with the concealment of light. Not with revelation of light. So its nature is dark and muddy. However, the neshama, right, which is created with the revelation of light, and with good vision, I guess. Which is she's eternal. And creation is pure. However, this person strengthens the body and makes it dominant. Hashem responds to Midah. If you become dark, then Hashem keeps on letting you go in that direction. To deal with him only in Hester Ponim. Right? So in other words, as a person drifts towards nature, right, he finds that God also deals with him within nature, right? So it's like, person could be in his business and he could make a move and he could fail and he says, well, where's my Hashem? Doesn't he want me to do well or something like that? But you're dragging yourself into mud. Again, I'm not talking about people who do this in proper whatever the proper ways are. I'm just saying that in general, the person could be going in one direction. Hashem will lead him along in the same direction, and the person will be wondering, well, doesn't this fit the model that I learned about in yeshiva? It's supposed to work out this way, but you're not in that mode. You switched yourself into a different mode, so you can't apply that mode, which is the mode of an ideal world, in the mode that you're in, which is a mode of darkness, right? In Teva. So the more, right? Okay. So again, this is a very important point. People don't realize that they, we all like to map the world with our understanding. We learned in yeshiva, and we learned in some speeches, and we want to apply it to our lives. And then when the map doesn't fit, what's going on? The answer is an answer could be that you're in the wrong, you're applying it in the wrong mode. Okay, let's just finish this 2 more lines. And as a result, he is very distant from the light of life. From wisdom and knowledge, and is drowning in zevel. Right? It's not very. Ramchal does not have a very positive outlook on this world. Okay. I'm not sure why this. What was the purpose of this Musar Shmuz over here? I understand it.
Some of this is like you said it before, the light and the concealment.
Yeah, that's from other books.
Yeah, again, but this Musar Shmuz, why is he telling me about these earlier generations? Of what is that important to me? Why is he telling me again? Is it because he's discussing? He's back to Hanhoga. Okay, something about the way he's laying this information out is not sitting well with me. Tzorich in.